Story 5. The First Rays of Sunshine. In 3 short days, the dark water-covered globe has been changed into a paradise of beauty. Driven up from the ocean depths by Sun One mighty, unseen force, land has appeared. Just as wonderfully, and with equal suddenness, the new continents and islands have been covered with grass and flowers, shrubs and trees, of every shape and size and colour. Now the 4th day has come. Evening and night have passed. Dawn is breaking. From the bright cloud above the firmament, or atmosphere, a gentle light makes G0D's work of yesterday seem more beautiful than ever. But look, something is happening. Up there, in the cloud. It is breaking up, see? Beyond it is a bright light, a ball of fire. What can it be? It is the sun. Already its first warm rays are sweeping over the lovely landscape, making it more and more like one gorgeous fairyland. Flowers are turning eagerly toward the shining orb as ferns lift their fronds and trees their branches in joyous welcome. For the first time, all the beauty of the newly made world is open to the full view of the inhabitants of heaven. It is as though God had drawn back a curtain that they might see what he had done and enjoy his handiwork with him. And from far away comes the sound of wondrous music as the morning stars sing together and all the sons of God shout for joy. Around the sun is a circle of blue getting larger and larger as the cloud dissolves away. It is the sky, the lovely blue sky, which, reflected in the lakes and seas below, makes them the same colour as itself. Yonder is the moon, pale and dull as yet, waiting for nightfall and the setting of the sun to take its place as the light of the world. And God said, "Let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs, and for seasons, and for days, and years, and let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth." And it was so. And God made 2 great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. And God set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. And it was good, very good, and very necessary. For without the light and warmth of the sun, many of the plants and trees that God had made could not have lasted very long. He knew this, and in his wisdom made provision for the care of all. He knew too that the animals he was about to make would love the sunshine, and that they could never keep healthy and strong without it. Man would love it too, and need it just as much. And for his sake, most of all, those first rays shone upon the earth. In all this, God was thinking not only of today and tomorrow, but of many days to come. The world he was making was not to be just a toy, a plaything, which he would toss away when he was tired of it. He was building for eternity. That is why he planned that the sun and the moon should mark the passing not only of days, but also of the seasons and the years, many seasons and many years. If the man he was about to make should choose to love and obey him, he could enjoy this glory land forever and ever. And though man was not yet made, I feel sure that there lurked within the heart of God the hope that all his years would be happy years, time without end, that the sun might never mark a day of sorrow, nor the moon a night of pain. And the evening and the morning were the 4th day. Story 6. Out of the Silence. A Song. Beautiful beyond words was the world that God had made, but with all its beauty, it was a silent and an empty world. As morning dawned on the 5th day, there was not a sound to be heard anywhere, save the sighing of the wind in the trees and the gentle splashing of waves upon the beaches. No lion roared, no elephant trumpeted in the forest glades, Not even one little frog croaked in the fern-covered pools. Not a dog barked. Not a coyote howled. Not a crow cawed. Nor was there any sound of human voice. No shout of a boy. No laughter of a little girl. How quiet it must have been. But God did not want an empty world or a silent world. He was making it to be inhabited. All his great preparations of the first day, the second day, the third day, the fourth day, were to make ready a home for a multitude of living creatures. So now, as the sun shines warm and bright upon the lovely flower-covered countryside and the deep blue sea beyond, God moves into action again. And God said, "Let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature that hath life, and fowl that may fly above the earth in the open firmament of heaven." And God created great whales, and every living creature that moveth, which the waters brought forth abundantly, after their kind, and every winged fowl after his kind. And God saw that it was good. And God blessed them, saying, "Be fruitful, and multiply, and fill the waters in the seas, and let fowl multiply in the earth." What a day that was! What a wonderful day! Don't you wish you really could have been there? I do. I would have loved to see God make the first goldfish, the first silver salmon, and send the first great whale surging through the sea like a giant submarine. I am sure he enjoyed himself making all those fish. But how did he think of so many different kinds? The big, fat porpoise and the little brown trout, the marvelous blue sailfish and the tiny little minnow, the sunfish and the starfish, the swordfish and the cuttlefish, the crabs and the shrimps, the lobsters and the eels. I cannot begin to think of them all. But God thought of them all. He designed them and made them, all in one day, all different, all with the power to live and move and breathe. Underwater. How wonderful is our Creator. How we should honor him and adore him. But making 1,000 varieties of fish all at once was not enough. On this selfsame day, he made the birds also, his marvelous mind planning the wing spread of the eagle, the gorgeous plumage of the peacock, the gay colors of the parrot, the mimicking skill of the mockingbird, and the radar outfit of the bat. Look. Just look at them. What a marvelous sight. Hundreds and thousands of birds of every size and shape and hue rising from the earth, flapping their wings, swooping up and down, hither and yon, in the first full joy of living. And what is that? Hark! The silence is broken at last. From everywhere comes the sound of singing. The birds are singing. The air is filled with their lovely songs. From far up in the blue comes the sweet lilt of a skylark. From deep in the forest, the lovely song of a nightingale and the gay trill of a canary. Nearby, sparrows are twittering, doves are cooing, and cuckoos, meadowlarks, killdeers, and whippoorwills give forth their merry songs in praise to him who made them. What wonderful harmony! And the evening and the morning were the 5th day. Story 7. The Animals Appear. For a few short hours, the birds had the world all to themselves. They flew happily through the air, perched on the branches of the trees, and walked, or waddled, through the flower-strewn meadows. No doubt they thought, if birds can think, what a lovely place God had made for them. But God had not made all this marvellous wonderland just for them. Early on the morning of the 6th day, a loud roar came from some forest glade. Birds in nearby trees soared into the air, chirping and twittering. Then, curious to see what it was all about, they flew back, and, lo, there was a great golden yellow creature with a fine, strong face, a long, hairy mane, and a bearing like a king. It was the very first lion to roam the earth. But look over there. Whatever can that be? Such a strange animal, with 4 long legs, a big, long neck, and such a funny face. A giraffe, of course. ambling by with its head high in the air. It almost knocks the smallest birds out of the trees. And what is this? A huge creature with legs like tree trunks, big flapping ears, little tiny eyes, and on the end of its nose a sort of long tube, which it tosses this way and that, sometimes even putting it into its curious little mouth. Oh dear, what fun God must have had making the elephant. Here come a couple of horses, perhaps black or brown. Such graceful creatures they are, as they canter by with their heads tossing and their feet going clippity-clop, in perfect rhythm. Now a couple of zebras, with strange markings on their coats, 2 leopards, with spots all over them, a crocodile waddling on its little short legs, a hippopotamus lumbering by with its huge mouth open, a camel with its humps, a deer with its antlers, a bear with its long, shaggy coat. What a procession! And to think that God designed and made them all in such a little while. Yet this is not half the story. Not only did he make all the big animals, he made the tiny ones too. Just look there. A little dog barking and scampering about as all dogs have done from that day to this, a cat walking by with stately steps, a monkey swinging from branch to branch, a chipmunk making funny faces, a gopher burrowing fast to hide itself in the earth, a chameleon, changing colour every few seconds, a squirrel with a big bushy tail scurrying around looking for something to bury. And all these created in a single day. It is too wonderful for us to understand. Just think. Every one of these marvellous creatures was not only made alive but made to see, hear, smell, taste, and eat, just like you and me. More than that, each one was given the power to reproduce, to make baby animals just like itself. You can draw animals on paper, you can make animals of clay or plasticine, but you can't make one of your animals live. You can't make them walk or run or eat, can you? No, indeed. And just as well, for if you could, what would Mother do with them all about the house? And how would she feed so many? No, we cannot make animals that live. We cannot make even a toad or a mosquito. But God can. And God did. In his creative mind, every animal, every insect had its beginning, and at the sound of his voice they sprang forth from the earth to do his bidding. And God said, "Let the earth bring forth the living creature after his kind, cattle and creeping thing, and beast of the earth after his kind." And it was so. And God made the beast of the earth after his kind, and cattle after their kind, and everything that creepeth upon the earth after his kind. And God saw that it was good. God was pleased with his work. It was good, and he was happy. His creatures were happy too and peaceful. Yet creation was not complete. Something was missing. The most important thing of all remained to be done. And God had left it till the last. Story 8. God Makes Man. Have you ever planned a wonderful surprise for Mother? For her birthday, perhaps? I am sure you have. You may have bought something for her from a store or made it all by yourself. A cake, maybe, or some candy, a painting, or a piece of needlework. Whatever it was, I know you could hardly wait for the day to come when you could give it to her. What excitement you felt as the moment drew near. Something like this thrill must have been in the heart of God on that 6th day of Creation Week. For that day was going to be a birthday too, and he knew it. All that week he had been getting the present ready. Such a present. A whole world LGA, beautiful, beautiful world. A world full of treasures, gold, silver and precious stones. A world full of food, nuts and fruits and grains and pure sparkling water. A world full of loveliness, trees and ferns and flowers. A world full of marvellous living creatures, birds, fish and animals of every kind and colour. Creatures to study, to play with, to laugh at. What a wonderful present for somebody. Yes, and all the time God was preparing this present. He was thinking of this somebody and saying to himself, I hope he will enjoy it. I hope it will make him happy. I hope he will notice all the things I have done to please him and that he will love me in return." At last, when everything was ready and God had done everything he could think of to make the world a paradise, he said, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth." So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them. In his own image. Like God, how very, very wonderful. God might have said, "Let us make man like a monkey," but he did not. He might have said, "Let us make man like a lion, only bigger and stronger," but he did not. He might have said, "Let us make man like an eagle and give him wings to fly over the highest mountains," but he did not. Instead, he chose to make man like himself. He could have given him no greater honor, shown him no greater love. And the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground. When God made the animals and birds, he spake, and it was done. They came leaping, springing out of the earth at the sound of his voice. But with man, it was different. God formed him. With infinite wisdom, infinite patience, infinite tenderness, he molded the noble head, the kind face, the strong body. And he built into him something more wonderful than television, the power to see, something more wonderful than radio, the power to hear, something more wonderful than radar, the power to think and talk and remember. Best of all, God made it possible for him to love and laugh and worship. Finally, the task was completed, as with infinite gentleness, God gave the last finishing touches to his masterpiece. There upon the earth from which he had been made lay man, the very first man, silent and still like some beautiful statue, awaiting the gift of life. And God breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. How near God must have come to him. So very, very close, the mouth of God touching the mouth of man. Perhaps, who knows, God kissed him. Perhaps, too, there were tears of love in his eyes as he bent low over this wonderful creature he had made, so like himself, so dear to his heart. Suddenly, as God whispered to him, gently, tenderly, lovingly, breathing into him his own wonderful life, Adam awoke and looked up into the face of his Maker.